Peace, family. This is Tariq. Welcome back again for another day, another episode of Knowledge Corner. All right, today's insight: love over money. Love over money. This comes from the song "I Need Your Lovin" by the late great Teena Marie, Lady T. Not sure why this song, well, I guess I do know why, because the message is coming from it. But my favorite Tina song is Portuguese Love. I love that song, especially when the song breaks down at the end. But of course, God is wanting me to relay a message from this song. And I was trying to figure out exactly what that was, because of course the song, we know the song is about her wanting the love of a man, but the part of the song that really always resonated with me is what they call a pre-chorus. It's a part of the song that is repeated throughout the song before the actual chorus comes up. And one thing about this song, the pre-chorus, the first part of the pre-chorus is the same, but the second part of the pre-chorus is different. So I want to say this part of the this pre-chorus was towards the end of the song. I want to say after verse 2 is when she says, "'Cause MONEY never did a thing for LOVIN. I felt it in my third eye. Love will never end." Again, "'cause MONEY never did a thing for LOVIN. I feel it in my third eye. Love will never end." All right, for people who are having a hard time actually understanding what I spelled, it's basically "'cause money never did a thing for loving. I feel it in my third eye. Love will never end." That's significant because, again, in the other pre-choruses, she doesn't mention the third eye. And for anyone who is unfamiliar with what the third eye is, in the Hindu religion, you can actually see a lot of Hindu women having a little red dot in the middle of their forehead. That signifies the third eye. And what the third eye is spiritual insight. It's higher consciousness, it's wisdom. You get all those things from your third eye. But me not practicing Hinduism, I understand what the third eye is. That is our spiritual eye. The more in tune in with the frequency of God, the higher you go up in those ranks, your third eye becomes more prevalent. Some people may call it discernment. There's a level of discernment that you have even when your third eye isn't fully open. But the more your third eye is open, the more you understand that you need love more than you need money. I understand money. For some people, money is the be all end all. But one thing that I've learned about money is that you can lose it and you can get it back again, just like that. One thing that you can never really get back is love. You may get it from someone else, but it may not be the person that you want to get it from. And I see this a lot in women, and there's no disrespect to women at all, but I know a lot of women who get in relationships for money who really don't care too much for the person that they're in a relationship with. Money brings stability. Money brings comfort. But at the end of the day, what I never understood is if I don't love someone, I'm not going to be around that person, money or not. But you see that in a lot of relationships that end up people end up getting divorced, and a lot of times it's because of money. You look at athletes, you look at entertainers. I remember, I think last year, hearing about Marcus Camby, or that may have been a year before. Marcus Camby was a professional basketball, player. He played for the New York Knicks as well as some other teams. After he retired from the NBA, within a couple months of him being retired, his wife divorced him. Some people may say, well, she just got tired of him. But at the end of the day, when you look at it, the NBA players, schedule, they're pretty much gone majority of the time. So she had a lot of time to do what she wanted to do. But when he's at home all day, every day, you can't do necessarily what you want to do. And then on top of that, you're not making millions of dollars like you once had. You're basically living off of the money that you saved, as well as a pension. But it may take some time to actually get a pension, and your pension money is not going to be anywhere near the amount of money that you were making when you were playing. So a lot of professional athletes and entertainers, their wives end up leaving them after they retire, because of the money. And to me, that's not cool. But that's not my relationship, so I have no say in any of that. I just know that there has to be a level of love that a woman has for her man in order for that relationship to be long term. If that woman doesn't have love and respect for that man, then in my eyes, that relationship is on borrowed times. That are love and respect are two things that any man requires from his woman. And if a man can get those things, there's not anything a man wouldn't do for his woman. I'll go to hell and back for my woman. Why? Because she loves and respects me. I could say the same thing for my ex-wife when we were married, even though we're no longer married. At one point, there was love and respect there. I would have went to hell and back for her. And still, to a point, I will somewhat do that as well. Why? Because she is the mother of two of my children. That's love. I love my mother. I love my father. At the end of the day, as a child, I didn't care if my dad spent a penny on me. I just wanted to be around him. Why? Because I loved him and I respect him. And there's a difference. Money gives you the ability to do things with your children, but it doesn't take the fact away that you want presence. You want to be around your dad or your mom. You want them to be in your presence. And, I got that, from both of my parents. I didn't know that we didn't have the means like we didn't when I was growing up, because they made things so comfortable. Even when they were down to their last, they made it seem like we were okay. And that's love. That is true love. 1 Corinthians chapter 13:13. And now abide faith, hope, love, these three, but the greatest of these is love. Again, and now abide faith, hope, love, these three, but the greatest of these is love. Love should be the root of everything you do. You go to work, some of us go to work just to get a paycheck, but some of us go to work because we love what we do. And the reward from doing what we do is getting a paycheck. You see the difference? It's a mental thing. It's how you look at certain things. I love my job, and I don't have a problem, saying that. Um, and the reward that I get is, getting a paycheck. But if you don't love your job, then you're just basically just dreading going to work, and you get here, you don't want to be here. You're ready to leave. It's a mindset thing. Surah Maryam, 1996. This is the 19th surah. This is the 96th verse of this surah. Of those who believe and work deeds of righteousness will Allah most gracious bestow love. Anything that you do, you want to be righteous. You want to go through this world as a righteous man or woman. That is showing reverence to the Most High. That is showing love to the Most High, that you are loving your neighbor as you would love yourself. Those are showing gracious and righteous deeds. And because of that, God will bestow love, his love, on you. Even though he loves us, there's levels. You walk in God's, path, and you walk the journey that he wants you to go down. He's going to show you more love than he's going to show someone who is not doing what he's supposed to be doing. I can truly say that I make these videos for the love of God. I'm not doing it for monetary gain. It would be nice to make, money off of making these videos, but that's not why I'm doing it. Because again, MONEY never did a thing for LOVIN. Why? Because I felt into my third eye that love will never end. As always, like, comment, share, subscribe, and positive energy activates constant elevation. Peace.